Hey, what's up guys? This is Cole with CJC Off-Road, and today we're going to talk steering stabilizers. We have my 2020 Ram 2500 here, and I want to show you guys what, in my opinion, is the ideal steering stabilizer for one of these trucks with larger wheels and tires on it. Today we'll be installing the Carli low mount steering stabilizer on my truck. This is actually something I'm very excited about because, believe it or not, these things have been selling so much lately that for the last couple months I've had to run around on the stock steering stabilizer. Got a big batch of these in from Carli this week, so I'm going to go ahead and throw mine on. But I wanted to actually show you guys why this is so worthwhile for your truck. You figure the factory steering stabilizer works great for stock wheels and tires, right? They weigh a certain amount, they're smaller, they don't put too much load on your truck's steering. But once you start going with say 35s, 37s, in this case 38-inch tires, you really start to actually notice the tires in your steering. Right, so a lot of guys talk about how you feel bigger tires, acceleration or braking, but what you don't hear a lot about is actually how they affect the steering, which is, a pretty critical element of driving, right? So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I'm feeling with this truck now. Again, this is not a full death wobble fix. We have a lot of people call in looking for a steering stabilizer to solve their death wobble. Death wobbles always a result of something being loose or worn out in the front end, so that's not what this is. Yes, it is a band-aid for death wobble, but actually what we're dealing with here, it's a lot simpler than that, a lot more common of an issue. So what we're really going for here is one-sided imperfections in the road that pull the steering wheel one way or the other, cracks in the road, just general steering wheel feedback that is overly exaggerated as a result of the bigger wheel and tire setup. We're going to, I guess, try to make the truck feel a little more natural, a little more stock. Basically have the steering stabilizer work to dampen what you're feeling in the steering wheel. What we're going to do is show you why the Carli stabilizer works so well for these trucks. To start, most steering stabilizers you see for these trucks, like aftermarket stabilizer setups, these dual setups, a lot of them use junk shocks, and I'd say they're primarily for aesthetics, right? They're not doing a whole lot in terms of actually damping, any kind of steering, anything like that, right? It's literally just something that guys throw on as, like an aesthetic accessory, right? No real functional element to running them. So what Carli's done here is they have actually developed a steering stabilizer very specific to this platform. It doesn't use a bunch of extra bracketry. It's intended to actually replace your factory stabilizer while doing everything needed to be done for running bigger tires. So this makes a whole lot more sense. It's a very recent approach to steering stabilizers. It's a nitrogen charged shock. Carli actually uses a stainless steel body on their stabilizer for corrosion resistance. So these are designed, basically no matter where you're at, they hold up really well. And with the nitrogen charge design that they use on these, you can actually adjust the nitrogen pressure in the shock to actually affect basically how much the steering stabilizer is pushing. This actually has benefits beyond just controlling steering wheel movement and steering wheel feedback in your truck. With a lot of these newer tires, like Nitto Ridge Grapplers, Toyo RTs, Toyo AT2s, Nitto Trail Grapplers, basically most of the tires that people are putting on these new trucks, the tires actually have a left radial pull. And so traditionally what a lot of guys have done in the past is basically cross-caster their front ends to counteract the pull of the tires. The issue with this is that these newer Rams from 2014 actually to current, when you put too much cross-caster on the front of the truck, actually starts to lean. So with this Carli stabilizer, it actually not only helps with how the truck steers on the road and how it handles, but it also actually allows us to get, I'd say, a better alignment and basically allow the truck not to lean in order to get the truck to drive straight. So basically what we're doing is we can set caster evenly side to side, and we can actually fine tune the nitrogen pressure. So the Carli stabilizer, I'd say you go anywhere between like 90 PSI and 200 PSI, depending on how much you want to push. And basically what we're doing here is the 38-inch Ridge Grapplers do have a pretty good left pull, so if I let go of the steering wheel, the truck pulls left, right? If I set that Carli stabilizer to about 100 PSI, I can actually get this truck to track perfectly straight down the road, but with no cross-caster, right? So no lean. So there are actually a lot of benefits to this, and actually at the currently $275 price point, I'd say this particular item actually offers one of the more noticeable differences in terms of driving characteristics and handling that you can get for the money spent. Now we're gonna go ahead and bolt the stabilizer onto the truck. I'm going to take this thing for a drive and show you just how much better this truck drives with just this one bolt-on part. So it took the guys about 10-15 minutes to put the stabilizer on. It's a relatively easy installation. We set the nitrogen pressure on it to 100 PSI, which I feel is perfect for what we're doing here. I'd say just about instantly, as soon as we pulled out of the shop parking lot, you can already tell a difference. The steering just feels tighter. It's difficult to put into words, but when you have big tires with a stabilizer that's not doing its job, every little thing kind of feels jarring in the steering wheel. But now, I'm going down the freeway, and our freeways in California, they're not terrible, but they're they have a little imperfections here and there. I can pretty much let go of the wheel and just let this truck go down the road. Keep in mind that this is partially due to us setting it correctly, so that's a very big part of the equation. But I'd say drivability wise, this is a significant improvement from what was there. Notice differences I'd say are in terms of less steering wheel feedback, so little imperfections, little transitions on the freeway, they don't jar the steering wheel nearly as much. And we have successfully counteracted that radial tire pull that these Nitto Ridge grapplers have with the stabilizer. So that was a major goal of putting this on this truck in the first place, right? So rather than this truck pulling left down the road, if I go to a flat part of freeway, this truck is going straight, so that's pretty cool. This has been a couple months coming, so I'm very excited to get this part on this truck. And I'd say for how little this part costs relative to a lot of the upgrades you do to your truck, I'd say this is one of the better value propositions you can get for the money spent. I hope this illustrates to you guys why we like this particular steering stabilizer so much. Again, it's constructed of stainless steel, so no matter where you're located, Canada, East Coast, where they salt the roads, these do tend to hold up really well. Customer feedback has been excellent on the longevity of these things. I'd also like to mention again, we do offer tech support even on weekends. So if you guys say you purchase one of these stabilizers for your truck, we always like to throw it out there that if you're trying to figure out the correct nitrogen pressure settings, things like that for your particular application, we're always more than happy to help. So feel free to reach out either via comments, email, give us a call. Again, we want to share our knowledge on these products with you, and we're not afraid to provide that information. We have a lot more videos coming up on features on this truck and similar products that we want to share with you guys. So actually, I want to mention too, I appreciate all you guys following all these videos. We've watched the viewership on this particular build. It seems like you guys enjoy following these build projects that we're doing. So we have a lot more similar content coming up. Again, thank you for watching. If you're not subscribed, feel free to do so, and thanks again.